AskReddit by card or hook hand. What are we currently in the golden age of? We're right smack in the information age. I agree, the world is now an open book test where every question that has an answer can be found. Finding the correct one is tough though. Almost everyone is going with a negative answer, so I will try to mention a positive one. Board games. If you are a board game geek like me, there has never been a better time in terms of the number of interesting games available and the number of people who are interested in playing them. Compared to games like Risk and Monopoly and Stratego that I grew up with, it's like we've gone from the Model T to a Corvette. What are some you'd recommend from a few different categories? Distractions. So many companies and apps that are all designed to get you to spend a lot of time there or get you addicted. I struggle to concentrate when I'm near the internet or my mobile phone. Beer. There are so many different types of beers and so many different craft breweries all over the world. My experience in the USA is that almost anywhere you go you can find some unique brewery with a special beer. We are truly in the golden age of beer. And only 99.99% are IPAs. But seriously, growing up in the east coast of the US, my dad told me stories about Coors being a big deal here. It's a good time to be a beer drinker. Unless you're Belgian. They never had this issue. Spicy chicken sandwiches and literally nothing else. Everywhere has their copy of either Popeyes or Chick-fil-A. Information. Also misinformation. Depression. Hence why we are all on drugs. Browser ad block still being effective. Eventually, they'll figure out a way to force ads on us. Soon, Google will be intentionally breaking ad blockers, so switch to Firefox. Most things, as compared to any time in history. Overall, I think you're right. We have huge problems, but I'd rather live in 2023 than almost any other time in history. Entertainment. We always have new things coming in and you can find a form of entertainment everywhere. And there's always something that someone will like. We are the first generation to have access to 100 years of recorded motion picture and audio entertainment. Board games. This is arguable. Some will say we are past it, but this is my opinion. A few companies have acquired one another and it's definitely gotten more commercial. But things are still pretty good. Vegans and vegetarian food. My fiancé is vegetarian, and the options today are amazing. Impossible, Beyond, and all their new products. Most of our favorite restaurants also have meat substitutes. Also, I highly recommend everyone check out the sheer range of vegetarian food that exists in Indian food. It's the most vegetarian country in the world and there's hundreds of really cool stuff that's more accessible worldwide than ever. Incredible high performance factory cars. Modern cars are faster, more luxurious, more efficient, and more powerful than ever thanks to modern engineering. And way too damn expensive. We need to start releasing shitbox options. Reposts. The golden age of stupidity and misinformation. I was gonna say information. We live in an age where literally every single piece of knowledge ever compiled in history is at our fingertips. And we use that power to argue on an obscure website instead. Stand-up comedy. Easy access to specials and most comics have podcasts too. I was thinking this today. It is always my go-to on Netflix. We're on the golden age of corporate art. Whether it's movies, video games, social media, etc. All these giant companies are more concerned with appealing to a trend or to a larger casual audience to make the most money possible for their shareholders. They hire artists who care, but control what they put out and suck the passion out of the creations. For example, Activision, YouTube, EA Sports, Disney, etc. Some of the most financially successful companies in these genres are also some of the most lifeless and cliché predictable around. This is coming from someone who loves Call of Duty and the MCU. It's just a shame that what they're doing is working because the quality is very obviously dipping, but their pocketbooks get fatter. Part of the problem, from what I've seen, is that they don't hire people who care. They hire people who want to make it in the industry, but often have active contempt for the stuff they are adapting, the audience, or both. Cavill didn't walk on Witcher because he was happy with the way they were treating it. There have been several comics adaptations where they've intentionally tried to be completely different than their alleged source material, for no reason. It seems every video game adaptation is changed, generally for the worse if not just pointlessly without gain. Isolation. This is a good one. Physical presence offices are on the decline. Social gathering spaces like malls and movie theaters are dying. And we haven't figured out what sort of physical interaction, if any, will replace them. It felt like mid to end 2016, right around the release of Pokémon Go, was the last burst of social cohesion and collective mental health in many parts of the world, and both have been in a precipitous decline ever since. I'll give an actual answer. We are in the golden age of media. Now hear me out before you start lambasting me. Yes, we have an overabundance of what would be considered the worst pieces of media ever produced. Stuff that costs $30 to make and is meant to appeal to the absolute brainless and literal children. However, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, it feels like every month we have movie, show, song and video game that become instant classics and are some of the best pieces of media ever produced. It just all keeps getting better and better. Even though there is so much garbage produced, we're given just enough more amazing content that I'd consider us to be in the golden age of media, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. This is absolutely true. I've gotten used to people saying, you have to see, listen to, play, try X. It's incredible. And all I can think is, man, they are probably right, but I just don't have time for that. I'm already tied up in Y and Z. Everyone gets to have their niche thing that is amazing. There's just not enough time to experience everything out there. We are approaching the beginning of the end of the golden age of social media, as we know it. The golden age of distraction. Narcissism. We probably don't know, since we usually dub something the golden age after it happened. Whining about problems while living 100x better than the past. It's entirely possible, and true, that just because some aspects of life are much better, there are still a lot of aspects of life that are shit. Sure, some people's lives are great, a lot aren't. Women who Photoshop themselves to look like a rotisserie chicken. That sounds delicious. We are in the golden age of, it's all about me and what I want and screw everyone else. I have reported this comment, and several others. I really don't like the downer vibe you're giving off and don't want it on my feed. I agree with you. Everyone being an influencer content creator. Horror movies 2022 has had some of the best years in horror and AMP. The trend looks to be continuing to 2023. Scream 5 and AMP 6 is out soon. Smile, Barbarian, Nope, X, Bell, Hellraiser, Terrifier movies, Prey, Bodies, Fresh, all fantastic, and AMP, popular movies. I'm very interested in Skinamarink. Just looks so unnerving and otherworldly. Hypocrisy and narcissism. Antibiotics. We already have resistant strains of bacteria, and they are evolving. If you want a butt lift in 2123, you will probably die of sepsis. Way to ruin my plans for 2123.